I'm gonna give you some big sister advice, so I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this. Please stop spending the money that you don't have. You do not need to buy everything that you see on the internet. No, it's not normal to be spending $20 to $40 a week on a coffee shop. You know what that adds up to a year? You're looking at $1,000 to $2,000 a year just on coffee. Some of you guys care so much about what your life looks like instead of what it feels like, and you're not building financial stability for your future. I'm all about supporting people and prioritizing your happiness, but there's a point of delusion where you're being fucking stupid. Some of you guys just need a little tough love. I'm here to give it to you. I say, hey, you're never gonna be this young again. Like, the money will come back. But there is a point where you are being actually irresponsible. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. In your 20s, you should be working your ass off. You need to be hustling so that you can enjoy that in your 30s. I fear a lot of you guys are just living your best life to the extreme in your 20s and you're going into credit card debt. Life does not need to be an Instagram aesthetics. You do not need to get the designer bag. You do not need to go to Italy. There's so many things that you can wait and save for your 30s. In order to spend money, you need to make the money. Especially in this economy, you cannot be idiotic about how you're spending money. It's stressing me out how many of you guys don't have anything saved up, and I'm here to help you, tell you how to do that. I didn't grow up with money. I learned how to manage my funds, and like, even though I haven't been working the last few.
Oh, how I wish like I can have everyone that go back in my 20s and start listening to videos like this. I know some persons that were so intentional with their finance in their 20s. Like people, it is this my 30s that my eyes were open to it. I know some ladies, and I could see how their life is like their life is so different. I wish I had such guidance while I was in my 20s. Somebody said a simple expense log can be more useful than another strict budget. Very true, very true. I had this realization last year. Something I always ask myself before purchasing is, do I want this or do I want people to know I have it? That hits, that
Let's
hits.
normalize
Makes a lot
frugality.
of sense.
I'm a frugal person. I don't like spending money on stupid things or more money than I have to. And a lot of times it's not even about money. It's about wastefulness. It's about overconsumption. It's about not wanting to constantly drown in stuff. And thankfully, we're doing fine financially. I don't have to do these things. It's just I equate being frugal with being smart. And to be honest, I like nice things. I enjoy nice things. I enjoy quality things. I'm definitely a proponent of the buy it nice or buy it twice saying. But that being said, I'm really looking for quality. So I'll be sharing how I'm frugal in my daily life, but I'd love to.
I love this. I love this. It's actually very helpful. Frugality is a must these days because of the economy. If you must beat this economy, you have to be frugal. Somebody said, my luxury spending these days is 100% cotton, over 50% recycled polyester, 20% polyester, 20% cotton, 10% nylon. That makes sense. I choose to live below my means and I travel the world. Okay, instead of buying things, even for Christmas, I take my kids to different countries instead of buying them stuff they do not need. Wow, I love this. Oh my God, I love this.
5 things I never do with my money as a spending coach who helps women stop impulse shopping and overspending. I'm Paige, the founder of Overcoming Overspending, which is an online community where I give you the tools to stop sabotaging your finances through your spending habits. Before I get into these 5 things, I just want to say that I am certainly not perfect at any of these. And when I say never, I mean almost never. If you know me and you know my story, you know that I have come a long way with my spending habits. At one point, I impulse shopped my way through my $60,000 salary, which if you want to hear that story, you can go to my profile and hear that. But if you're watching this video and at the end of it, you think like, well, that's great for you, but that could never be me. Don't fall into that trap. It's simply not true. Spending money is a skill. It's something that you learn and you can get better at over time. So yes, these 5 points, I absolutely still struggle with them. However, they are rules and guidelines that I use to direct my spending, and they are things that I consciously work on every single day, and you can too. The first thing is I never spend money from a place of fear or scarcity, which again is really hard to do in today's world because scarcity, urgency, and fear tactics is the #1 way that marketers and retailers get you to spend money that you weren't planning on spending. When they tell you that there's only a certain amount left, that something's going to go out of stock, that the price is going to go up. These are all tactics to scare you into spending money. So before I spend any money, what I always do is I always drop down into my body and I say like, okay, what's the underlying emotion driving this purchase? And if it's fear, stress, anxiety, I do not spend money when I'm in that emotional state. Because when I do make a purchase from that place, it always ends up being a purchase I regret making. The second thing
This is absolutely true. As someone that even saves, this is true. And oftentimes, if we're even true, honest with ourselves, we realize that we buy the impulse buying is actually stems from emotions, from a place of emotions, not with our clear head, which is why it's best for you to, not to buy that day that you feel like buying that stuff. After some days, ask yourself, however you feel, how do you feel about it? And oftentimes, when you do that, you realize that you don't even have feel like buying it again. Yeah, that which is why it's good, or rather, why it's best to delay your purchase
I never
for
do with
some
my
days
money is to
until you
add
still
more
think
things
about
into my
it.
cart just to get free shipping. Now I will say this, there's one scenario where I actually will do this, which is when the amount that I have to add to my cart is like exactly what the shipping is. So if I have to add $10 into my cart to save $10 of shipping. However, that actually very rarely happens where it's a one-to-one give like that. Most of the time it's like I have to add $20 into my cart just to save $5 in shipping. This is super hard to do because our brains view shipping as an inconvenience cost, a fee that we don't want to pay. And so we will irrationally spend more just so we don't have to pay for that shipping. It's a promise that I've made to myself and something that I have to practice. I don't ever spend more just to save a little. The third thing I never do with my money is to try and buy things that I know can't be bought. I never try to solve an internal problem that I'm having with an external solution, meaning I never try to buy my confidence. I never tried to buy my self-worth. Now, there were a lot of years where I tried to do that very unsuccessfully, and it took getting to a point of realizing like, okay, no matter how much I spend, no matter what I buy, no matter how much I am altering my external environment, this isn't solving the problem that I wanted to solve. I had to come to the realization that there are just certain things that cannot be bought. So something that I practice now is not trying to solve something that can only be solved internally with my money. The fourth thing I never do with my money is spend money for other people versus spending it for myself. The year that I impulse shopped my way through my annual salary, I was absolutely spending money for other people. Now it was for me, but it was really for other people. I was desperate for the attention and the validation and the praise of other people. I got sucked into a lot of trends. I ended up spending a lot of money on things that weren't really me, but I thought that other people would like them. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to belong. I wanted other people to look at me and say like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. She's so trendy. And so I ended up spending a lot of money for other people, but it really didn't do much for me. The fifth and final thing that I never do with my money is buy something when I know that I'm most likely going to return it. I see this a lot with my clients is they spend a lot of money just being like, oh, well, if I don't like it, I can return it. And listen, I am not saying that you should hold on to a product that you don't like or doesn't work for you. But I also feel like we do a lot of spending with the backup of being like, oh, I can return it if this doesn't work out. But the truth is like, we pretty much already know that we're going to return it. So really what we're doing is we're using spending to get the dopamine hit, to kind of give ourselves the high of the buy and to entertain ourselves in the moment, then knowing that later on we're going to go be returning it. So the question I always ask myself is, if returning this wasn't an option, would I buy it? Now, of course, we know that usually it is, but when I'm in that moment in the purchasing decision, I take the return possibility off the table for just a moment to bring me some clarity around the purchase.
So I live in a country where after you buy an item, there's rarely an opportunity for you to return. Because it's not an option in my country. And hearing her say it, it's actually making me think about it. I've never ever thought about it, but it's now bringing some clarity. Why people don't really buy thing, even though people buy, but in my country we spend more on necessity because you know that if nobody's coming to save you, and you don't want to go and be begging on the street, and credit card loan is not something that is optional in my country. You have to spend what you have, and if you don't have the money, the cash to spend is as good as you don't have it and you cannot afford it. So you have to wait till when you can afford it. Somebody said, do you do any work with ADH clients? It's so much harder because of the dopamine issue. Oh, little tip for the free shipping dilemma. If the website offers free returns, just add an expensive item to your cart so you hit the free shipping. Uh-uh. How does that solve anything? What a coincidence, seeing this as I just spent $500 at Forever 21. Wow. Somebody said, how do I stop buying iced coffee every day? It was when I started watching American movie that I saw that there are people that if they don't take coffee, they can't function. Eh? In my country, it's not a thing. It's even the celebrities that are trying to bring in the coffee in like it's so people places where they do coffee is so rare. It's not much. And celebrities are good there to buy the coffee. Everybody wake up on every day. You know what my people tell you? You remember the bills you have to pay because and you have to make the money. Nobody's giving the money. There's nobody giving you any loan anyway. That's enough high for you. That's enough inspiration you need and motivation. It will motivate you like no tomorrow. So you don't need any coffee. In fact, we are already high on our own. And if you not top the coffee to it, the energy will be too much to start with. But yeah, I want to hear from you. What has it been that has been helping you save money? And are you struggling with overspending? Let us know in the comment section. And also, if you've been able to overcome overspending, what did you do that helped you? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.